is recruiting very structured like IB? Can post-undergrad individuals matriculate into an analyst class? Does networking play a large role in recruiting? What's your take on cold calling individuals in PB and who analyst, associate, VP, MD is best to reach out to? Okay, I have a loaded question, but I think I can get to it. So recruiting, I would say, depending on the firm, is not as structured as PB, as the IB, but it's still somewhat structured. Firms like Deutsche Bank, Credit Suisse, JP Morgan especially, Goldman Sachs especially, maybe so UBS, I'm not sure about some of the other firms, but those are just some of the bulge brackets off the top of my head. Their private banks or private wealth management firms are very structured. They tend to only recruit from certain schools, and they tend to have certain GPA requirements, and they have to have certain deadlines on when you drop your resume and go through the process and everything. It's a combination of demand, and it's a combination of just filling the ranks as far as really who they want to take. So I wouldn't say it's nearly as cutthroat and structured as IB, but it's definitely there, because the firms that have the bandwidth and obviously the balance sheet to employ a summer analyst or a full-time analyst class, they want to get to it, and there's a process, and it's become somewhat of a science. So I would say it's somewhat structured, if not almost as structured as investment banking. Post-undergrad individuals matriculating into analyst class, yes. I know, again, JP Morgan and I believe Alliance Bernstein or Bernstein Global Wealth Management, for example, they have off-cycle recruiting, and so you can apply for positions in existing analyst classes, or there's several instances, just like with an investment banking, where an analyst that is in a certain class bails and goes and tries something else or moves within the firm or whatever it might be, and there's always work that needs to be filled. And either they're going to spread it amongst the people that are remaining, or they're going to go out and put some kind of job posting. So I wouldn't let the fact that you've already graduated deter you from potentially working in private banking or private wealth management. I think it's very possible. It just depends on the firm, and it just depends on how you position yourself. And I can help you out with that if you want. You can just private message me. Networking play a large role in recruiting? Absolutely. I think with everything, networking is extremely huge, especially if you know some higher up people and some solid producers. Ultimately, what you have to understand is, especially in private banking, investment banking, this is very much true as well, but the more higher up people, like your directors, executive directors, managing directors, whatever they might call them, at private banks, private wealth management firms, or even investment banks, they ultimately have the say. And so why is that? It's because they're the ones that are literally responsible for bringing money to the firm. If they are going out and recruiting, assets and they're producing for the firm, or if you're in investment banking and you're going out to corporate clients and you are sourcing deals and ultimately completing transactions, which are a win for the firm, overhead, everybody else, they're going to listen to you because you ultimately have the say. And so if you're a managing director in either division, for example, and you have some conviction about somebody, or you like a kid who went to your alma mater or whatever, it totally helps. It totally helps. So I would, because it's not all you need, but it definitely helps as far as getting you in the right direction. Primarily because they have much more clout, and at the end of the day, HR, management, you name it, they're going to take what those people have to say into consideration. Even all the way down to the analyst level. I think it helps. So I would definitely keep up your networking and continue to do that. Cold calling, it's very possible. I did that as my first summer analyst gig in Los Angeles. I cold called a firm. I cold called maybe like 45 firms in Francisco and Los Angeles because that's where I wanted to live. And I ended up getting like 4 or 5 interviews purely from cold calling. I did some quick LinkedIn searches, quick Google searches, even some Facebook searches at the time. to find out employees and people that I can get in contact with at specific offices. I straight up called them. I think it speaks to your tenacity, and it almost shows that you want to be there because you're picking up the phone and you're calling them. And as far as specific people to reach out to, I would actually tend to head in the mid to high range. Analysts tend to be too busy, or also chances are afraid to speak up on somebody's behalf that's reaching out to them because they maybe haven't been at the firm for too long, or they just have zero clout. Managing directors on the flip side also might be too busy as well, or might not care because they've already made it and they just don't feel like helping people out. I actually would tend to talk to the associates or the VPs because they're still in the game in the sense that they're working, and this also applies for investment banking as well, but they're still working hard and still very much focused on whatever they're doing, whether it's building assets or completing transactions. But they also have a little bit more tenure than some of the junior employees, and so they might actually have the ability to speak on your behalf. So I would look out for associates to the director range. It's not a bad idea to email the managing directors or the analysts, but I would focus your attention on the associates and the VPs. I think that's an underrated play. Like I said, if you got any more questions, maybe specifically regarding your situation, you can